Morning, everybody. George, Brandon, Kyle. I like that red light. Cool. So, while everyone else jumps on board, it's like so much of this is experimentation. We expose ourselves to ideas. We expose ourselves to others. We expose ourselves to our own notions of what's being discussed. All of these aspects are slightly different. We saturate in these words, in these feelings, in this quality. And while the meditative philosophy is to not really seek change, there's a nuance in that where it doesn't say that change at the same time isn't desired or expected. It just, the meditator is not attached to that change. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And within that realm of, I don't know, allowance, permission of consequence, we can still make presumptions. We can still assume things. And so the assumption is this might affect us in a good way, help us become more noble, more responsible, more virtuous, more honest, on and on. So yesterday we were talking about presence. Did anyone recognize an effect or an impact on their day after the discussion in the morning? And if so, what was that impact? Wants to share? How about Kyle's going.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been cool to start the mornings early with intention. And so it just leads to this awareness of intentionality with each moment of the day, and noticing those triggers or those points where you come off of your intention, and just becoming more aware of what those are. You just become a bit more of the observer. So that's been my last 5 days, including today. It's raining hard in Los Angeles. It's early. It's a little chilly. I had this hesitation, and I was able to observe it and be like, no, I'm going to go sit down and I'm going to do what I know is necessary to be done to keep going on the path that I need to be going. So it's just like being aware of those little voices, those little triggers, those little things, and not responding to them with any type of a reaction, but just observing them and then staying steadfast on this path of ascension.
I love it, man. Has everyone, or who among us, has found it beneficial to start the day with explicit intentionality? It's like, I think, a big part of this process of contemplating, it's a fairly fluid and easy thing we're doing. We're waking up early, that can be challenging, but we're essentially just talking about ideas, notions that are, comparatively a little bit more profound, maybe a bit more sincere, a bit more virtuous. But despite that, it's fairly simple. We just organize our thoughts, and with that, a direction emerges. This is the power of intention. A little nuance in terms of intentionality, and to really feel it or sense it, it depends on your capacity to touch quality. But this is a yogic thing. Intention in Sanskrit is sankalpa. 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 And a sankalpa, an intention, is distinct from other thoughts. And what sort of defines the sankalpa against the other thoughts is that it entirely changes or renovates the nature of the mind. Meaning, New Year's is an easy time because there's a lot of momentum to create intentions, quote unquote. But we have intentions all the day, flickering like little fireflies in the night, on and off, on and off, on and off. Oh, I want to save money, on. And then, 3 seconds later, off, I'm going to buy a cappuccino. Oh, I want to, I don't know, work on my diet, firefly, on. Oh, nice. You're enchanted by this. And then 2 hours later, it's like, oh, I'm going to get dessert, off. And so a sankalpa is only a sankalpa when it is no longer a choice. It's unforgettable. And how to initiate that, who knows? But I think the act of reflecting on our own lives and remembering when we were in the presence or affected or the avatar, the vessel of a sankalpa. For me, yoga was that. I didn't expect to be so attached to yoga, but it just got me by the throat. Just wouldn't let go. And, still there. And so it goes back to like fate, these things that we are compelled to do, that we are asked to do almost by the providence of nature. They really do change us. And I guess right now we're just working to initiate that change in some capacity. So intentionality, awesome. Anyone else want to share an effect that they noticed yesterday, or maybe an impact of these intentional mornings? Okay, moving on. Just a little review from yesterday. Got to keep this thread of concepts, clear. Fate leads to peace. That's what you said, Kasha. Fate leads to peace. So what that means is, if you are not at peace, if you're not okay, if it's not good, it's not the end. Because fate leads to peace. So you're just somewhere along the story if you are experiencing anything other than peace. It's a nice little twist and a nice way of, interacting with the world. If I'm in the middle of a shitstorm, I'm sure Aurelius had his share of shitstorms in the Republic of Rome. It's not the end. The end is peace. And then George brought up the reality that death is the end, and that creates a lot of peace also for those that aren't grasping so hard at their lives and themselves. The great rest that waits for us all. And, where we're sort of formally going in this is that your fate actually leads to presence. And this entirely, this parallels completely the notions of meditation, which are a bit more distinct than the themes of Aurelius's meditations. But your fate leads to the present moment. The meditator works to become emptiness in the present moment, renounced of all duties except the duty to be the vessel of that which is. That's what the meditator, the Taoist, the Zen monk, the yogi. My fate is to delete myself and become the space in which life can move through me. Aurelius's reality, because he bears unique responsibility for hundreds of thousands, not millions. He can't just be the empty vessel. He touches that emptiness, that quality, and then from there sort of stands on the pedestal of actionable wisdom. So, different little vibe. But despite that, to take that action or the action of inaction, right? That's the meditator. The act of not being, that can only happen now. We know this. Can you feel it? Right now. You're doing it. I'm going to do it. Okay. And that little adjusting of the mind, I think, is what starts to set this intentionality into our days. Cool. Okay. And then the last bit, in terms of review, in terms of quality, the Tao. is that nameless thing that when spoken of disappears. It's just one word. It's just one word away. The Tao, that nameless thing that when spoken of disappears. Cool. So we have to toggle between the disappearance of ourselves and the reemergence of ourselves. The disappearance becomes more and more and more profound. Again, can you disappear a little bit right now? And let go of whatever barriers are preventing the full absorption into the innocence of this moment. Can you do that? So letting go. And then a reemergence, not just as ourselves, but a reemergence of a more dignified, virtuous, dutiful version of ourselves. And that's a little more complex, but that is the heart of the Stoic sort of belief, to embody somehow the ideal, Cool, all caught up. Any other details, right? This is like a collaborative experience. Any other details from yesterday's session that you would like to articulate for us? Anybody? Okay. Moving on. This is the next or another little phrase from the Tao Te Ching. The Tao is like the emptiness of a vessel, and in our employment of it, we must be on guard against all fullness. I like that. The Tao is like the emptiness of a vessel. Again, in the habit of feeling, the Tao is like the emptiness of a vessel. And in our employment of it, we must be on guard against all fullness. Must be on guard against all fullness. So Kasha, your mic is on, so you're lucky. No, you can keep it on. You can keep it on now. What are you in the protecting of emptiness, of your emptiness? What is something that is filling you up that needs to be emptied right now, Kasha?
Anxiety.
Anxiety in relationship to what?
I mean, myself.
What was that?
I said myself.
Yourself. Well, what about yourself?
It's really hard for me to be present sometimes. I'm always thinking and I'm always living in my head. So I feel like when we do meditate, it helps me calm down all my thoughts. And it makes my vessel literally empty. So.
Cool. I mean, true, right? Anxiety. And it's like what I've found is we tend, when we speak of the mind, either because we are a little shy or because we are ignorant in an innocent way. The root of that anxiety for ourselves, the specifics, as small as it might really be or as big as it might really be, we tend not to vocalize it, almost as if it is forbidden to say. But I think more than that, it's just blind, right? We're just dealing with the anxiety. But if I can, a thing that creates anxiety for me, right? Specifics is, am I delivering this experience right now well enough that it has an impact on you? So I'm worried about you, I'm worried about my performance. And so that creates a little anxiety, very specific, right? It's like that is the event That is the thought process. That is the narrative that is filling my cup. And I have to be on guard. I have to be present to it. And the presence is validated through the ability to express it. And then on guard, meaning I have to cast it aside, which is just simply relaxing the nerves while recognizing the seed of that anxiety and then carrying on, guarding the emptiness against fullness. That's a really beautiful way of saying guarding the emptiness against fullness. Cool. So let's pivot. We're going to do a little bit of meditation, 2 minutes. And so I just want you to get a sense that there are different approaches to this game of mind. And so right now we are sitting as Taoists, trying to touch that unnameable thing that when spoken of disappears. And to do that, we do what we always do as meditators, which is essentially relax very well and keep our hearts open to the wonder of nature, the providence, the good fortune of time as it moves forward. So nice tall spine, eyes are closed. Repetition is the key to mastery. So if your wrists are on your knees, and I want you all to play with this for about a minute, not too long. When the wrists are on your knees, you're going to contemplate, what is the effect? Versus when your hands are in your lap and you're more narrow. So you're working your recall, but also working your capacity to feel. If you haven't switched your hand posture, your arm position, switch now, patiently, patiently. And work on sensing a shift in quality. The Tao, the way of things, is like the emptiness of a vessel. And in our employment of it, we must be on guard against all fullness. Deepen your inhale minimally. Lengthen your exhale minimally. Find great satisfaction in that small change. So your presence should be resilient. I should be able to talk. And the little bubble of your emptiness should remain intact. Presence is not a delicate thing. And so gently contemplate while you keep your feet in the river of the way. Gently contemplate while you keep your feet in the river of the way. What aspect of your life disappears as you protect your emptiness? What aspect of your life disappears as you protect your emptiness? So try to feel that. With the breath in, open your eyes. Let's write that down. So the question, what aspect of your life or aspects of your life disappear as you protect your emptiness? And again, try to be specific. You know, I can throw out any generality, and obviously it works. Your anxiety disappears, your fear disappears, your judgment disappears, your doubt disappears. But like, what are you scared of in your life right now? What are you worried about? Your boss getting on you today? Your car breaking down? Your mortgage? 20 seconds. And so what you're writing down, again, try to keep the pen on the paper. There's probably more than one thing, probably more than many things. What you are writing down are your attachments. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, ding, 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 ding. All done. All righty. Who wants to share? Who wants to share? All right, Brandon.
Can you repeat the question? I had like the answer come up, but then I didn't have a pen to write it down.
Yeah, I got you, man. What aspect of your life disappears as you protect emptiness?
Got it. Yeah, what came up for me was like effort actually disappeared, or like I guess like pressure or control effort. Like as soon as I felt I guess if I'm feeling like starting to feel full, adding effort to try to like not feel full anymore, to try and take things out of the cup, was just actually like filling the cup more. So it's almost like letting everything that was in it spill out on its own, rather than like trying to pull it out, and actually just like softening and relaxing emptied the cup.
That's a great point. And so I'm going to ask something though. What are you applying too much effort in or towards in your life?
I don't know, maybe effort isn't quite the right word, but like pressure. I'm putting a lot of like pressure on everything.
So what? And so this is for you, right? It's like, I'll share. I'm putting a lot of pressure, or I was. I'm going to see someone that, in the name of love, I want to go see if something works out in the next 5 weeks. And so there's a lot of pressure, expectations I was placing on the flirting with a potential relationship. And so that's where this generality becomes true for me. And the act of explaining it, the act of saying it, is itself liberating. We hold on to these, like, the sources of these observations in us, like secrets. And so absolutely effort and pressure. But what is your pressure?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, but one example that actually happened, like this kind of like release happened, was movement, like yoga. When I say like everything I do, I feel like I'm having to like drag myself into action. Yoga has been one of those things, or like exercising. And it was yesterday or the day before, I like sat for just a second before doing it, and I forget what the theme was exactly that we had talked about that day, but I just like softened a little bit, and it felt like I dipped my toes into this like river, and all of a sudden I was just moving. I was just doing it. And I did like the full, normally when I do this yoga flow, it's like every single moment of it is painful. And I'm just like pushing myself the whole time. And it's just like, okay, one more flow, one more, like, you got this. And it's just like this struggle. And this time it was just like soft. And I just like let my body just do the thing that it wanted and needed to do. I don't know exactly how to describe like how I got there or what it was, but it felt like releasing effort actually like opened me up to accomplish the thing that I wanted to do with ease.
I love it, man. I mean, and that's the example, right? Your relationship with physical activity and exercise, and the pressure you're putting on it. And when we sort of soften into that, we can actually sort of like output more, strangely. And so the barricade of thoughts, the barricade of these expectations. So nice. And so what I wanted, the second point was the emptiness that we're protecting. It's a metaphor, obviously. There's nothing that is nothing in this whole universe. There's nothing that's nothing. And so where is emptiness? Well, in our bodies, it's really just like calibrated relaxation. That is the emptiness. And so if you just sit there and relax skillfully and well, learn how to feel that as you meditate, you will touch what sort of these lineages describe as emptiness. It is the relinquishing Cool. So our little stint into Taoism. Again, the Tao is like the emptiness of a vessel. And in our employment of it, we must be on guard against all fullness. Spoken like a military leader, Aurelius. We must be on guard and protect ourselves from the barbarian fullness. Okay, sweet. So let's get into the quote now. So we're going to be with presence for the next 2 days. This is Aurelius now in his same little room, same candles. If you'd only let go of the past, if you'd only let go of the past, entrust the future to providence. Entrust the future to providence. Providence is the goodwill of nature. Like nature is not leading you into a trap. It's not leading you into the end. It's not leading you into doom. It is your friend. Your flat tire is your friend. Your illness is your friend. The providence of nature. Entrust the future to providence and guide the present toward reverence and justice. So again, Aurelius sort of teeters between two characters, the meditator and the leader. The withdrawn, right? The meditator, the withdrawn, and the responsible. And guide the present toward reverence and justice. Reverence, colon. So you'll accept what you're allotted. Reverence. So you'll accept what you're allotted. Right? So if you learn to revere the providence of nature, whatever it gives, you can accept because you trust it, essentially. Reverence. So you'll accept what you're allotted. Period. Justice. So that you'll speak the truth. Justice. So that you'll speak the truth. You know, what comes up for me is like the truth of what we feel, the truth of what we believe, because, you know, if you have reverence, if you trust consequence, you know, it's like, I want to ask my boss for a raise, or I want to ask my partner for some time to just be with myself and go into the mountains. I want to ask, I want to set some boundaries or make requests, whatever it is, coming from a feeling. If I don't trust nature completely, then there are some possibilities that I will accept and some possibilities I won't be able to tolerate, right? In that communication of truth. Right? Does that make sense? I might get fired, I might get in a fight, I might blah, 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 blah. So if we don't trust nature entirely, it suspends our capacity to be honest with ourselves, because now we are tailoring and confining our own wants, and, you know, which in their, when what we want is rooted in authenticity, you know, wanting becomes what we need to grow when it's rooted in something. And if we're scared to really ask for what we want from the world and from nature, because we don't trust it, we really sort of disable ourselves from becoming. Does that make sense, that line of thought? So again, it's like reverence for the present moment so you can accept it. And then justice to speak the truth. And this will permit the development of the virtuous character. Alrighty, questions now. Questions. What is difficult about the world right now? And so you're sitting, you know, I asked this not as a personal thing. What is difficult to accept about the world right now? What's hard for you to actually trust about society? What's difficult to accept about the world right now? And why? All righty. Anyone got a share? What do you think is hard to accept about the world right now? How about, I'll pick someone. Tick, 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 tick. How about Sarah? Haven't seen or heard, seen your face, heard your voice.
Hi.
Hey, Sarah.
So in the big world or like in my world?
Big world.
Global warming.
Gotcha. Hard thing to trust. And what scares you about it?
I guess it makes me sad to think about the planet dying. I mean, I guess the planet isn't dying, it's just changing, but the beauty of the balance, right, is changing.
Yeah. And things are dying because of it. A lot of death. Any other reasons that, aspects of this circumstance that hurt you?
I mean, it's also scary, right, to think about this apocalyptic kind of like these storms and diseases and stuff. Obviously, like the idea of maybe, I don't know, is it already happening, or in like 20 years, is it going to be worse? And what are our lives going to look like?
And so, right, trusting the providence of nature. It's like, this is very repetitive again, but it helps us. When you think about that, and this is what we're going to do, we're going to meditate for, not too long, 6-7 minutes. I want you to toggle between bringing that up into your mind, perceiving that reality. The world is doomed. We're in like the 7th extinction events. That's like fact. The sky will go black and the animals will be gone. And you feel your body tighten. The fullness presents itself. And then while holding that thought, inviting another thought, like adding sugar to bitter herbal tea, a sweetness, that I can trust the process. I can trust that nature leads all things to where they're supposed to go. And you choose, again, intentionality, you choose to soften into the experience that is. Just reps of that process. Cool, but we're really just honing in on and hopefully stitching into ourselves in a bit more empowering, or in a bit more of like an impactful way, trust in the providence of nature. And that is an aspect of presence. Cool, thanks for the share. Global warming, I'm sure that was on a few of our lists. Okay, nice tall spines, eyes are closed. And so let's take the second to align yourself with your mistrust. And there is honesty in that. And a sort of justice. and the sword of justice. And then from there, you guard yourself from fullness, protect yourself from tension. Deepen the breath slightly, lengthen the breath slightly. And despite the truth of your concern, because it is probably true, despite the truth of your concern with your body and your quality, rest in peace. If only you'd let go of the past. Let go of the harmonic earth. Let go of the utopia of earth before industrialization. If only you'd let go of the past. Entrust the future to providence. And guide the present toward reverence, so you'll accept what you're allotted. Accept. And justice, so that you'll speak the truth. Let's take one more breath in. Feeling the quality of that complex statement. Exhale. One more breath in. One more breath out. With an inhale, open your eyes. Cool. You know, just setting a direction. In closing, one, I appreciate you all. It's a cool thing to do. And yeah, so thank you. But the second is, what I got from this is that we are responsible for making the present moment tolerable. The hope is the present moment is like a paradise, but the reality is, you're welcome, brother. The reality is it's kind of not tolerable at times because we are still influenced by the past and worried about the future, and that all sort of collapses into now. And so we are responsible, as Aurelius was responsible for Rome and making sure that the citizens had bread, the walls were up, and they were protected to a degree. In that day, everyone needs their food. That day, everyone needs protection. That day, the city needs to run in order. We are responsible for fortifying our moments. And that involves a dimension of emptiness. It involves acceptance, and it involves being honest. And that's, you know, a conflation of a lot of complex human abilities: acceptance, honesty, presence, release, letting go. But yeah, I think that's the I don't know, the zest, the detail. The zest is I am responsible for this. I am responsible for guarding my being against fullness and responsible for protecting the now. Awesome. So be responsible today. I'm sure it will reward you as it has rewarded everyone who is responsible for it. And see you tomorrow.